Yes, you're welcome to Junior Academy. It's me again, Teacher Dale. Taking you through section B, part of the O-Level 545 stroke 1 chemistry. I remember that the passing O-Level chemistry has become very, very easy. Let's look at how the section B part of the paper goes. So in section B, we have two parts. We have part 1 and part 2. In part 1, we have a particular elements of construct that is saying the learner to be in position of appreciating the contribution of chemistry to our economy. And now, which are the particular areas that can be assessed? We have the manufacture of oxygen gas, manufacture of chlorine gas, manufacture of fertilizers, manufacture of cement, manufacture of sulfuric acid, manufacture of sodium hydroxide, manufacture of ethanol, could be manufacture of biogas, could be manufacture of microgames. Now the tanking again was in section A, item 1. Again, it's coming very section B, parts 1. That's item 3 or item 4. They can as well be a scenario on extraction of metals and the contact metals that can be brought here. We have extraction of sodium metal, aluminum metal, copper, zinc, and iron. So that has to be well balanced with all these different areas. And really look at these particular areas of constructs. We want to specify in simple term and say it is what we call the industrial process. Industrial process, where a learner is supposed to know all these into detail. Now, what particular concept is a learner supposed to know on these areas? That takes us what we call the basis of assessment. A learner is supposed to know that for him or her to be in position of manufacturing a particular product from industry, because the saying is the industrial process. Then, before that particular product is made, or for that particular product to be made, that has the raw materials which must be used for making the particular products. And there would also be vessels which the learner is supposed to use. And that takes us to what we call the process of production. It has a position of knowing the raw material, parts, and then the vessels to be used. And then, of course, this product, for it to be formed, especially the major product, the reactor must have undergone through different stages or different chemical reactions to come up with the final products. So, this is what we call the process of production. And the process of production, we expect that if we talk about the vessel the man is going to use. And then, the chemical process. The chemical process. Of course, expect this particular reaction to undergo to series of stages for the final product to be formed. And then, this is why the learner can really talk about maybe if there's equation, the learner can bring an equation. Now there is also formation of value to desired product. Desired product. How can the preliminary product be converted into the major product that is required? We expected that to talk about that in the speech. Then, the learner will also be in position of about the purity of the product. Of course, when you look at the products on the industry, the one you always talk about, we talk about very manufactured oxygen. We cannot just say that you are supposed to manufacture for us unimpure oxygen. No, we need pure products. Meaning the right was to talk about we call it purification. Purification. PR. Purification when score you use a metal PR. Then convert to the desired product, we can use this CD. So that is also talk about the method of purification. How is he or she going to prepare, the purify for us the product? Then, after that, the night post also gave acts. Of course, you know that these products, production of these different products and industries, of course, brings a lot of challenges to the environment. That takes us to what we call the side effects from the process of production and mitigation. We will know that this product that are being produced from industries, they have a lot of environmental impacts. So there are lots of people telling us how these impacts can be mitigated. And then the last heading in the speech or the report that the line is supposed to make for the presentation, or what we call an article, where writer is the social benefits, or what we call the importance of the process of production. If we talk about employment opportunity, the industry about providing employment opportunity. Don't just say it's also the employment. When marking this, I use abbreviation SBSE. SB stands for the social benefit. You give for me the social benefit, and then they explain for me the social benefit. That is SE. If you say maybe it is a source of employment opportunity, this improves on the level of income of the runners, hence improves standard of living. Saying of explain for us what that opportunity brings the life of the community. Of course, they're able to generate a lot of income, which they're able to use for buying the basic needs and thereby increasing or improving on their standard of living. And that's what we're supposed to talk about here. Maybe to come back a bit, the flashback here, the abbreviation that they use here still, we can say go by hour. Here inside petrol first of production, I can still use my TI, DE, DF. Also, I can just say then, DE time, not waste time. The impact, explanation of the impact, and then mitigation. Or you could use D, EM. D will just be the impact of the data, E will be explanation, and then M will be mitigation. So every bit here, the last few person are giving us the mitigation, when the mitigation to be correct, when the impact and the explanations are also correct. You cannot give me a correct mitigation when the impact is very wrong. I expect it to score a no way, next case. So all you call here, that is supposed to be given like 3 scores. 1 for impact, 2 for explanation on the impact and the danger, then the third by 4, the mitigation. So here under item number 3 and 4, we expect a line to make a report or write an essay or a speech, an article, and the format that I is supposed to use, we expect that to have the first head being raw material, second head being process production, and when talk about the post-production, the line is put into consideration the vessel, the chemical process, conversion to the desired products, and then the purification method. Then the C part, that is the next subject, will be the side effects of the process of production and the mitigation. Then finally, the line is supposed to talk about the social benefits or the importance of the process of production or the abundance of these products, the community. That will be section B, part 1, item 3, and item 4. Coming to part 2, part 2 comes from the elements of construct, which says that the line actually position of appreciating the existence of natural resources in the environment and their importance in daily life. When you look at the natural resources, the resources are those things that man needs to satisfy his needs, or man uses to satisfy these needs. For example, we have the air, we have the water, we have the fossil fuel, we have the rocks and minerals, we have the carbon-based fuel, trees and natural vegetation will be the oil, and we had. Now, here, they also bring 2 items, that is item 5 and item 6. They're supposed to do one, and this is the head that carries the biggest number of scores, and it is the easier for all. Senior 1 mark mainly and some few areas. It's in a key. When you look at the air, water, rock and mineral, those are senior 1 chapters. Coming with fossil fuel and carbon-based fuel. Carbon-based fuel, that is senior 2 1. And trees are based on meditation. Then the fossil fuel is senior 3 1. So you see that's treating. This is the easiest facts that I can gain very well scores from. Now, a select can be brought for a man, and to be upon a man to use this based on assessment. the format of answering the scenario or the question. In the first part of the report that the lawyer is supposed to make for the speech, the lawyer is supposed to talk about the identity of the category of the natural resource, reason, and example. That is going to be the first heading that I write. And now here, the line we score, we use an abbreviation CRE, CRT, where C stands for the category, R stands for the reason, and E stands for the example. For example, if the scenario is about maybe air, we first look at that. So we identify the particular natural resource, we categorize it. Now when you look at the different categories of the natural resources, we have the renewable natural resources and non-renewable natural resources. So when you look at renewable natural resources, are those one this cannot be, or this can be replaced when they get used up. While non-renewable natural resources are those that cannot be replaced when they get used up. Like natural processes, it burns lifetime. Now, if the scenario is about air, and identify air as being the natural resource that is being talked about in the scenario. Now, in that first subcategory, which is saying the identity of the category of natural resource, reason, and example, we expect a learner to say that air is a renewable natural resource. Mark me very well. Air is a renewable natural resource because it can be replaced by natural processes in man's lifetime. So by saying air, and really give an example, is a renewable natural resource to give me the category because can be replaced by natural process in man's lifetime. You're giving a reason. Now coming to composition of natural resource, next take a line to give the right composition. Now here, when you give me the composition, you give the composition of air. And say air is composed of nitrogen gas, oxygen gas, carbon dioxide gas, water vapor is there in air. We have the dust and small particles. And yes, and it is also composition of the natural resources. Now, the next element will be the impact of human activity on the natural resource to the environment. This particular one here, and then has to be very careful. Here, take a postcards go back to the scenario and identify the particular human activity that we talked about in the scenario. It is about bush burning or a public commercial built by some men in the village. Or when it's about the dumping of polythene bags into the river. That is the human activity that is affecting the natural resource called water. So the land and host must identify the human activity and then look at the impact of the human activity on the environment. And then go ahead and mitigate it. That was mitigating and mitigation. That was mitigating. So here, the affirmation that we use here, we use the state our DI, DE, DN. The impacts of the human activity